केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Special edition.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the News Hour special edition this Saturday evening, and I'm Hina Gambhir. Viewers, tonight I begin by asking two questions. What's the value of earning an additional 100 rupees daily? Is there a cost involved in a job that helps someone make that additional 100 rupees daily? On Friday, terror yet again reared its ugly head in Jammu and Kashmir's Kelm village in Kulgam area. Two migrant laborers from Chhattisgarh were killed in a terror attack at a brick kiln. Viewers, death and loss of life is the cost of a job earning a measly 100 odd extra daily. It doesn't stop at migrating from a home in Chhattisgarh to Kashmir or living in pathetic conditions. The deceased in the terror attack have been identified as 24-year-old Deepak Ratre, a resident of Sakti district in Chhattisgarh, and 28-year-old Bhupendra Bhaina. Why were they here? Why were they in Jammu and Kashmir? Because compared to Chhattisgarh, the daily wage of a semi-skilled laborer in construction or related field is about 100 rupees more in Jammu and Kashmir. How were they killed? Terrorists arrived reportedly on a motorcycle to the shanties in which laborers lived. One of the victims, Deepak Ratre, had come to Jammu and Kashmir around 7 to 8 months ago with his wife to work at a brick kiln. He was the family's sole breadwinner. Those dependent on him included his elderly mother, a differently abled younger brother, his wife, and the infant son. Bhupendra, on the other hand, had moved to Kashmir with his wife about 3 months ago for work. They had left their 4-year-old son in the care of his grandmother and younger sister. Terror has no religion is a common rhetoric, but a laborer has only one religion: bread earning. It's not been officially confirmed, but family members of the deceased say the bike-riding terrorist asked the unfortunate laborers two questions: where were they from and which caste or community they belong to. Listen in.
बताया जा रहा है कि दो नकाश आतंकी थे जो हिंदू मुस्लिम पूछ करके गोली मारी थी। तो ये लोग क्या दो लोग हिंदू थे, तो इनको दो लोगों को गोली मारी थी। एक मेरे भतीजा दीपक रात्रे एक बलौदा बाजार के हैं। शासन प्रशासन से हम ये मांग करते हैं कि हम इतने गरीब परिवार जो काम करने कमाने खाने के लिए वहाँ गए हैं, जो आज भारत के नागरिक भारत में सेफ नहीं है। हम यही चाहेंगे कि हमारे जो दीपक रात्रे का पार्थिव शरीर है वो जल्द से जल्द हमारे बीच में पहुंचे। हमारे गांव बुंदेली में उनका अंतिम संस्कार करना है और जो शासन सहायता राशि जो उनके परिवार के जो पालन पोषण के लिए मिले। और एक हम ये चाहते हैं कि एक भाई विकलांग है तो उसके हम एक सरकारी नौकरी और उनके आर्थिक सहायता के लिए हम शासन की अपील करते हैं।
Viewers, in the last 21 months, this is a second attack on non-local laborers. Viewers, the incident is the second terror attack reported in the valley this month and comes just days after a Jammu and Kashmir police head constable was shot dead in Anantnag. It has renewed concerns over the safety of migrant workers who have increasingly become targets of terrorist groups in the region. Security alert is on in Jammu and Kashmir. Officials are hinting at a tactical shift in the attack. Traditionally, terrorists use assault rifles like AK-47, but in Kulgam, smaller concealable weapons were used for a quick hit-and-run attack. Experts say Pakistan's ISI is encouraging local terror groups to maintain violence in the valley. They have to keep the fires burning, but deliberately small-scale target attacks are being carried out to avoid a massive security response similar to Operation Sindoor. The attempt, it seems, is to divert also attention from growing security challenges in Balochistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We have seen protests in those regions against Pakistani establishment as well. The terrorists and their handlers may have changed strategy, but politics is staying its course in Kashmir. Political outfits are choosing to stick their narrow political interests. The terrorist attack happened under the watch of National Conference government led by Umar Abdullah. Chief Minister strongly condemned the killing of 2 laborers in Kulgam, describing the incident as a heinous act. The Resistance Front, an offshoot of Pakistan-based terrorist group Lashkar-e-Toiba, has claimed responsibility for the targeted attack on non-local workers in Kulgam. Now, TRF is the same outfit that had claimed responsibility for dastardly 2025 Pahalgam attack as well. But Umar Abdullah's father, ex-Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Farooq Abdullah, in a statement literally questioned the claims of the terrorist outfit. He created a conspiracy theory by asking why such terror attacks happen only when demands for statehood for Kashmir are raised. Then another ex-Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mehbooba Mufti, pointed fingers at security apparatus, called the strike a security lapse. Worse, at a time when Pakistan has changed its terror strategy, a minister in Abdullah cabinet proposed that India must start dialogue with Pakistan, whose hand is visible in the killing of 2 poor Indians.
इसे हमारा ये भी पता नहीं, कौन मारने वाले हैं ये भी पता नहीं। इसकी तहकीकात होगी और ईमानदारी से तहकीकात होगी, कौन मारने वाले हैं। मुझे नहीं पता ये क्यों उस वक्त होता है जब हम लोग स्टेटहुड मांग रहे हैं।
देखिए, बात करना कोई गुनाह नहीं है। बात ऐसे भी वो हमारी ट्रैक टू पॉलिसी है, वो बात तो कर रहे हैं, वो बात करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है। बात करनी चाहिए, बात करनी चाहिए। या 56 इंच का जो सीना आपने संभाल के रखा है उसका इस्तेमाल करें या बातचीत करें। ख्याल में बातचीत बेहतर है।
यहाँ इतना सिक्योरिटी की वजह से लोगों को इतना अदाब है लोगों पे, उसके बावजूद ये इंसिडेंट्स होना, मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं सिक्योरिटी में कोताही। इसका बाज़ाब्ता इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना चाहिए। यात्रा की वजह से इतनी सिक्योरिटी होने के बावजूद 2 नहरे लोगों को गोली मार के जो है खत्म कर दिया।
इस हमले की जितनी निंदा की जाए कम है। पैसे दे के ना इस हमले को कम किया जा सकता है, ना इनके घर वालों को जो तकलीफ का सामना करना पड़ा है उसमें कोई कमी आएगी। लेकिन ये हमारे तरफ से एक छोटी सी कोशिश है कि इस मुश्किल दौर में हम थोड़ी सी की मदद करें।
दक्षिण कश्मीर के कुलगाम में आतंकवादियों ने 2 हमारे जो प्रवासी श्रमिक थे वहां पर काम करने गए थे, उनका आतंकवादियों ने निशंस हत्या कर दी, जो कि बड़ा पीड़ादायक और हितविदायक सूचना है। और छत्तीसगढ़ की सरकार दोनों मृतक परिवार को 20-20 लाख रुपए की सहायता राशि प्रदान करेगी।
And joining us on the News Hour special edition this Saturday evening is Arun Sao, Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. Arun Sao जी, thank you very much हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए। सबसे पहले तो ये जो खबर आई है काफी दुख देने वाली खबर है छत्तीसगढ़ के लिए, खास करके क्योंकि 2 लोग छत्तीसगढ़ से जो जम्मू और कश्मीर काम करने के लिए गए थे वो टेरर अटैक का शिकार हो गए हैं। क्या हमें बता सकते हैं कि क्या हुआ था दरअसल, आपको क्या जानकारी मिली है? क्योंकि फैमिली जो है क्लेम कर रही है कि इन लोगों से उनके कास्ट, कम्युनिटी वगैरह, उनके बैकग्राउंड के बारे में पूछा गया था। क्या आपकी बात हुई है उमर अब्दुल्ला जी से, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के? अरुण साव जी, आपको भी आवाज आ रही है?
राज्य की सरकार लगातार जम्मू कश्मीर की सरकार से हमारी सरकार संपर्क में है। हमारे अधिकारी भी वहां गए हुए हैं, जो सरकार के साथ, प्रशासनिक अधिकारियों के साथ संपर्क में है। ये बहुत ही दुखद और दर्दनाक घटना हुई है। हमारे छत्तीसगढ़ के 2 बेटे भूपेंद्र और दीपक, ये जो पाकिस्तान परस्त आतंकी हैं, इन्होंने घर में आकर और भोलेपन का लाभ उठाकर घर में आते हैं, पानी मांगते हैं और बातचीत पूछताछ करते हैं, यानी पहचान जानने के बाद भोलेपन का लाभ उठाकर हमारे 2 भाइयों को उन्होंने मारा है। उनके साथ जो क्रूरता की है वो अत्यंत पीड़ादायक है, दर्दनाक है। इसकी जितनी निंदा की जाए आज हमारे सुरक्षा बल के जवान की बात सुन रहा था। लगातार जम्मू कश्मीर में शांति की बहाली के लिए वहां के लोग स्वतंत्र होकर, सुरक्षित होकर जिए, इसके लिए लगातार हमारी सरकार और सुरक्षा बल के जवान काम कर रहे हैं। फिर भी बीच बीच में इस तरह की घटनाएं करके अपने नापाक इरादे ये दिखाते रहते हैं। और ये जो समय है, ये राजनीति करने का समय नहीं है। वास्तव में जान, एक एक जान हमारे लिए कीमती है। हमने छत्तीसगढ़ के 2 अपने युवा बेटों को खोया है, जो अपने परिवार के पालन पोषण के लिए काम करने के लिए वहां गए हुए थे, और उनको चिन्हित करके उनकी पहचान जानकर इन आतंकवादियों ने हमला किया। ये इस परिवार के साथ खड़े होने का समय है। राजनीति करने के बजाय इस परिवार के दुख में सहभागी होने का, इनके साथ मजबूती से खड़े होने का समय है। तो राजनीति इस ऐसे मामलों में नहीं होनी चाहिए। इनफैक्ट जो घटना हुई है ये बहुत दुखद है, दर्दनाक है। सरकार इसे लेकर हमारे सुरक्षा बल के लोग पूरी तरह से मुस्तैदी से काम कर रहे हैं। और
आपकी तरफ से फैमिली को क्या आश्वासन दिया गया है? क्योंकि आपकी तरफ से फैमिलीज को क्या आश्वासन दिया गया है? क्या उनकी डिमांड है? क्योंकि उनमें से ऐसे लोग थे जो अपने घर को चलाते थे और फुल ब्रेडविनर थे अपने परिवार के लिए, अपने परिवार का पालन पोषण करते थे, और अभी इस अटैक पे उनकी हत्या हो गई है। तो क्या सरकारी जॉब या किस तरह की सपोर्ट आप देने वाले हैं उनके परिवार को?
माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने घोषणा की है कि परिवार को 20-20 लाख रुपए की सहायता सरकार देगी। हमारे सरकार के अधिकारी वहां गए हुए हैं। परिवार के लोगों से हमारे अधिकारी लगातार संपर्क में हैं, बातचीत कर रहे हैं। परिवार के इच्छा के अनुरूप जो वहां पर जम्मू कश्मीर में उनको जो मदद चाहिए वो भी करेंगे। और सरकार ने 20-20 लाख रुपए दोनों परिवार को देने का ऐलान मुख्यमंत्री जी ने किया है। और पूरी मजबूती से हमारी सरकार उनके साथ खड़ी है। और ये जो आतंकवादी जिन्होंने ये नापाक हरकत की है, निश्चित रूप से इसका खामियाजा उन्हें भोगना पड़ेगा और का सबक उन्हें सरकार सिखाएगी। केंद्र की सरकार, हमारे सुरक्षा बल के जवान, जो कि प्रधानमंत्री माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जिस प्रकार से देश से नक्सलवाद पूरी तरह से समाप्त हुए हैं, नक्सलवाद पर 0 टॉलरेंस, आतंकवाद पर 0 टॉलरेंस, पर ये
लेकिन अरुण साव जी, वहीं दूसरी तरफ फारूक अब्दुल्ला जो एनसीए चीफ है, उनका कहना है कि जब स्टेटहुड की डिमांड होती है इस तरह के अटैक्स क्यों होते हैं। उन्हें एक सवाल खड़ा किया है। आप इस बयान को किस तरह से देखते हैं?
देखिए, मैंने कहा ना कि ये राजनीति करने का अवसर नहीं है। मिलजुल कर हमारा जम्मू कश्मीर सुरक्षित हो, वहां लोग सुरक्षित रहें, ये इसके लिए मिलजुल कर काम करने का समय है। और ये राजनीति करने का समय नहीं है। और भारत सरकार इस विषय को लेकर जितनी गंभीरता से पहल कर रही है, राज्य के सरकार सुरक्षा बल के जवान जिस तरह से काम कर रहे हैं, निश्चित रूप से अब परिस्थितियां बहुत बदली हुई है। पुराने दिन याद करिए, आज क्या अंतर आया है, इसको भी समझने की जरूरत है। और इसलिए हमारे सुरक्षा बल के जवान निश्चित रूप से पूरी मुस्तैदी से काम कर रहे हैं। और ये जो
पर आपको लगता है कहीं ना कहीं अरुण साव जी, जो एक हादसा हुआ है, अभी जो टेरर अटैक हुआ है कुलगाम में, उसके बाद जो छत्तीसगढ़ के बाकी वर्कर्स ऐसे हैं जो भी जम्मू और कश्मीर में हैं, उनके मन में भी थोड़ा डर आ जाएगा किस तरह से नॉन लोकल लेबरर्स को टारगेट किया गया है। और क्या आप प्लान कर रहे हैं उन्हें वहां से वापस छत्तीसगढ़ बुलाने का, कुछ इवैक्यूएशन कुछ तरह का बारे में आप सोच रहे हैं जब तक स्थिति बेहतर नहीं हो जाती है?
देखिए, हमारी सरकार निश्चित रूप से इस मामले में गंभीर है और जो भी उचित निर्णय होगा समय के हिसाब से लेंगे। पर भारत के लोग डरने वाले नहीं है ऐसे कायराना हरकत से। भारत का कोई भी बेटा डरेगा नहीं ऐसे कायरों के कायराना हरकत से। पूरी मुस्तैदी से इनका सामना करेंगे। और जहां तक छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार की बात है, छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार समय के साथ आगे क्या करना है इस पर निश्चित रूप से गंभीरता से विचार करके निर्णय करेंगे। हमारे लोग सुरक्षित रहें, न केवल देश की सरकार चाहती है, हमारी सरकार भी ऐसा ही चाहती है और जो भी उचित मार्ग होगा वो करेंगे।
जी, आपसे जब मैंने फारूक अब्दुल्ला के बारे में बात की थी तो आप कहा कि पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं करना चाहिए, राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए क्योंकि बहुत ही सेंसिटिव मौका है अभी जिस पर हम बात कर रहे हैं। वहीं दूसरी तरफ एनसी के जो एक नेता हैं और जम्मू और कश्मीर में मंत्री भी हैं, उनका कहना है कि पाकिस्तान से बातचीत एक बार फिर से शुरू कर देनी चाहिए। उसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, इस विषय में भारत सरकार बार बार स्पष्ट कर दिया है, उस दोहराने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। और फिर मैं कहता हूं कि राजनीति करने का अवसर नहीं है। जम्मू कश्मीर सुरक्षित रहे, इस तरह की घटनाएं ना हो, इसको लेकर आगे बढ़ने का विषय है। और आज जनजीवन बहुत तेजी से जम्मू कश्मीर का सामान्य होते जा रहा है। पर ये घटना निश्चित रूप से हम सबको झकझोरने वाला था और सरकार और सुरक्षा बल के जवान निश्चित रूप से इससे सबक लेकर रणनीति बनाकर फिर से काम करेंगे।
जी, आपने ये भी बताया हमें कि इसका जो है जवाब दिया जाएगा। किस तरह का रिस्पांस आपके हिसाब से जरूरी है इस मामले, ताकि जो लोग अभी वहां काम कर रहे हैं, जो लोग वहां रह रहे हैं, उनमें एक डर जैसी स्थिति न पैदा हो?
देखिए, सुरक्षा बल के जवान जो है, सुरक्षा बलों ने घटना के तुरंत बाद जो मुस्तैदी दिखाई है वही मुस्तैदी की आवश्यकता है। और सच ऑपरेशन होंगे, जहां कहीं पर भी छुपे होंगे उन्हें खोज निकाला जाएगा और कार्रवाइयां लगातार होगी।
जी, all right, Arun Sao ji, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. So that was Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh speaking with Times Now, because two people who lost their lives in this terror attack were from Chhattisgarh. They were migrant laborers who were working in Chhattisgarh. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. Viewers, let's also welcome our guests this evening who are joining us today on News Hour Special Edition. We have Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow ORF, SP Vaid, former DGP, Jammu and Kashmir, Advocate Nilofer Masood, spokesperson of National Conference, Imran Ahmed Ali, lawyer and political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. Let me begin this discussion with you, Advocate Nilofer Masood. I mean, at a time when Pakistani terror-based group's proxy in India has claimed the responsibility of this terror attack in Kulgam, we have Mr. Farooq Abdullah, who is NC chief, coming out and saying that he's asking a question actually, that why do such incidents happen when there is a demand for statehood that's made? Is he hinting at some kind of a conspiracy? What exactly is he trying to say? Is he targeting the Indian government?
Thank you, Hina, for having me here. We have four panelists. I wish them a very good evening. First and foremost, the Jammu Kashmir National Conference unequivocally condemns the brutal killing of the two innocent laborers from the Chhattisgarh. Such an act of terror or an attack on the hospitality for which Jammu and Kashmir is known, and the very idea of the peace in which we believe. We stand in solidarity with the families of the bereaved family and demand that the perpetrators be identified as soon as possible and brought to justice without any delay. However, while condemning the terrorism, straightway I'll say that in the strongest possible terms, but we must ask a legitimate question. We have seen from several years that security, if you'll see the security of the Jammu Kashmir, that is unprecedentedly, you will find larger number here in Jammu and Kashmir. But even then, how terrorists are managing to come and target the security personals or the migrants, that is a question of concern which should be asked, and it is a legitimate question which should be asked. It is not politicalizing. It is the question of the accountability, which we need to ask and fix the accountabilities. Third thing which I want to put before this forum is that National Conference has constantly mentioned that terrorism must be defeated, and we believe in peace, and we say that there should be talks in between the two countries so that we can have the constant
first
peace.
Clarify your stand here. One second. If you do not hold Pakistan responsible, Advocate Nilofer, 1 second. I really don't have time for a monologue here. 2 people have lost their lives. So I want to ask you once again, what is the stand of National Conference, your party in Jammu and Kashmir? Who do you hold responsible for this particular attack? Because on one hand, your Neta is saying that there should be a dialogue with Pakistan. On the other hand, Mr. Farooq Abdullah has hinted at some kind of an internal conspiracy, because he has said in as many words that he's asked, why do these incidents happen when there is a demand for statehood? So do you hold Pakistan responsible? If yes, then what do we make of the statement by Mr. Farooq Abdullah?
See, basically, Dr. Farooq Abdullah has raised a serious concern, our recurring pattern, which we are seeing that whenever statehood gathers some momentum, we find such violences, or we find terror attacks. It is only to divert the people from restoring the democratic rights.
So who's trying to divert the attention, Advocate Nilofer? Indian government or Pakistani government?
All those people, we are falling in the web of those people who don't want that there should be the restoration of democratic rights.
So essentially, you're holding Indian government responsible for this attack.
No.
Am I right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Is Pakistan going to restore statehood in Jammu and Kashmir?
Pakistan is not going to restore. It is our own center which is going to restore.
What do you make of what is being said? I am a little confused here, because both the statements are going on simultaneously.
See, Hina,
Advocate Nilofer, 1 second. You've made your point. I gave you ample time to clarify also, but you are still believing that it is some kind of a conspiracy. The idea is to not fulfill the demand of restoration of statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. S.P. Ved.
Good evening, Hina ji, and good evening to all my co-panelists and to your viewers. See, I think what I can make out from the statement of Dr. Farooq Abdullah is probably he is thinking that when our Honorable Home Minister made a statement in the Parliament about restoration of statehood, he definitely said that as situation will improve, we will grant the statehood back to the state. But let me mention it very clearly. It has actually, the two things have no relation at all. The statehood has to be given by the government of India, and the terror attacks are happening at the behest of the establishment of Pakistan. So I don't see, unless somebody means conspiracy between the government of India and establishment of Pakistan, which is absolutely is unthinkable. I don't think it is possible. If somebody has information about it, I don't think it's an absurd thing to be even thought of. Number two, I think two of our prime ministers, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, late Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and present Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, risked their political careers and visited Pakistan, not only to talk to Pakistan. And what did happen? You saw even more terror attacks. So talk to Pakistan. That this is your experience of this, and our government in Bharat has made it very clear: talks and terror cannot go along together. So let the terror stop. We will talk. Everyone is in favor of talk, but who do you talk to in Pakistan? My Let this political leadership enlighten me. Who do you talk to in Pakistan? Because Shahbaz Sharif, who is the Prime Minister, does not hold the mandate to take any decision about Jammu or Kashmir or even international relations. Ultimately, who calls the shots? Asif Mir. And he is the person who is actually engineering all this. Who do you talk?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Mr. Sushant Sareen, now there are two issues here. One, of course, you've got a minister from Jammu and Kashmir advocating dialogue with Pakistan, and then you've got Mr. Farooq Abdullah's statement. Specifically, if I ask you about Mr. Farooq Abdullah's statement, isn't it in a way a soft bailout offered to terrorists and Pakistan?
Look, I think it's about time we stop taking Farooq Abdullah seriously. I don't know whether it's advanced years, but he's throughout his life, he's always made provocative statements to try and get as much attention as he can, even if those are really nonsensical. And the statement which he has made yesterday or today is utterly nonsensical. Unfortunately, Darbaris of the party have to defend that statement willy-nilly. Whatever happens, they have to defend it, no matter what. The bottom line is that if the lady on the show claims that there was this great momentum for the statehood demand, please tell me what the momentum was. That the chief minister came to Delhi when the cockroaches were out here and said that, we want to, he also, dovetailed his demand over the cockroaches demand. Is that the momentum you are talking about? In any case, I think Mr. Vaid has very correctly said statehood will be restored when the time is right. Nobody is denied statehood in Jammu and Kashmir, and that it has to be restored. But it will not be restored simply because some cockroaches are marched in Delhi. And then, of course, you come to what I consider the single most brainless thing anybody can say, which is that let us hold talks with Pakistan to stop terrorism in Kashmir. If anybody believes that, they really need to get their brains examined. Because the last thing the Pakistanis will do is stop terrorism in Kashmir. They will keep trying to do terrorism in Kashmir. And the only way to stop that is by continuing to be on constant vigil and continuing to tighten your security grid. And when things cross a certain threshold, to take the war and the battle into Pakistan and make them pay a very heavy price for it. There is no other way you can do it. And for the people who don't believe me, all they need to hear is the son of Osama bin Laden's scientific advisor, who is right now the chief military spokesman, his comments on India, Hindus, and how they want to deal with India yesterday. That's all they need to do. For all these clowns who are saying we should talk to Pakistan, there are all kinds of people who become ministers in Jammu and Kashmir. One of them has his mouth. All that he needs to do is listen to what the Pakistani ISPR is saying, who is a de facto leader of that country.
Okay.
And then it will become very clear to you whether you can even hold talks with them. And in any case, talks with Pakistan is not going to lead to any solution. So either the leaders and the political people in Jammu and Kashmir smell the coffee, wake up, understand that if they keep looking towards Pakistan to get their chestnuts out of the fire, they are not going to get any solution. Right. They are going to be on the target as anybody else. Or they come, they end that apron string which they have held on to.
Right.
Become real about how the situation has to be solved and proceed accordingly. And I think the only person who's made any sensible statement among the political leadership in Jammu and Kashmir right now, at least for now, is the Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, shown a greater degree of maturity than anybody else.
Absolutely, because this is clearly not the time to play politics. That's what even the Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh said, when I spoke with him earlier. This is not the time to do politics because 2 people have lost their lives. Indians have been killed on Indian soil. Sanju Verma, how does the BJP counter this conspiracy narrative?
Hina, taking off from what Mr. Vaid and Sushant Sareen said, first and foremost, my condolences to the kith and kin of the 2 migrant laborers who were in their mid-20s and who lost their lives in extremely unfortunate circumstances and were the victims of a terror attack. No 2 ways on that. Coming now to the moot point about what Farooq Abdullah said. Saying that the terror attack in Kulgam was actually linked to statehood demand. I mean, that is as absurd and bizarre as it can get. Because let me remind Mr. Farooq Abdullah that he was the Chief Minister of Jammu Kashmir for almost 11 years, from 1982 to 84, 86 to 90, and then from 96 to 2002. And the maximum amount of mayhem, terror attacks, bloodshed happened during Farooq Abdullah's tenure. So the first point is, for Farooq Abdullah to wax eloquent about terrorism is simply not done. The second point is that on the 11th of December 2023, when the Supreme Court upheld the abrogation of Article 370, it said that the government of the day, as in the Modi government, should grant statehood as soon as possible. But it also laid down a caveat. The caveat was that whether the situation is normal or not from a security standpoint, that's the prerogative of the government of the day to decide. And let me say one more thing, that the statehood demand will come to fruition after the Jammu and Kashmir Amendment Act of 2023 is further amended and the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019, which initially split Jammu Kashmir into union territories of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, that is also amended. So there is a lengthy process. The Delimitation Commission did its job by increasing the number of seats in Jammu Kashmir from 83 to 114. And now the government of the day will set the ball rolling. But I want to very quickly, Hina, please bear with me. Farooq Abdullah is a rabble rouser and is known to make statements completely out of context. This is the same man who said 6 years back that the people of Jammu Kashmir would rather be ruled by Chinese. When you are not going to take statement seriously, then who's not going to take seriously? Then who's
Advocate Nilwar, I will give you time to respond to what Sanju Verma is saying. Sanju, quickly, 10 seconds, finish your point, please.
Yeah. This is the same Farooq Abdullah who has categorically said that Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir belongs to Pakistan, not India.
Okay.
This is the same Farooq Abdullah who says Kashmir is not an integral part of India.
Imran, I want to go across to Imran. Sanju, you've made your point. Imran, I want to ask you firstly, do you blame Pakistan or do you endorse the conspiracy theory?
Hina ji, what do I say about Pakistan? A failed state in which Osama bin Laden lived at a stone's throw distance from Abbottabad. Are we actually asking ourselves this question? A failed state like Pakistan that does not even know how to manage its own territory. Today, we expect some reasonableness out of them. My question today and tonight is very different, and I am extremely upset at everyone on the panel because we don't ask the correct questions. A government that fails to prevent attack on Indian soil cannot hide behind success of retaliation, because prevention is policy, retaliation is a necessity. When you talk about conspiracy, my question tonight is responsibility. We brought the BJP into power because specifically before they came into power, they said you need stronger government to deal with terrorism. However, how did we deal with it? 2015 Gurdaspur, 2016 Uri, Pathankot, Nagrota, 2019 Pulwama, 2021 Jammu, the Air Force base, 23 Pooch, 24 Reese, 25 Pahalgam, 26 Anantnag and now Kulgam, and still answering. I mean, you're saying do not do politics.
Why are you coming here?
A question, ma'am, I finished. Sanjuji, you know me. I don't interrupt ever when you're speaking. Let me extend me the same courtesy. Today, my problem is of command responsibility. And this cannot come at a worse time for the Home Minister and for the BJP than it has already come. However, you ask me, from my history, since I have lived in this country, 26/11 was one of the most dastardly, horrible acts of terrorism on our Indian soil. However, the Home Minister of State, the Home Minister of Country and Chief Minister took personal responsibility and they were nowhere in sight. My question is, I'm not asking for anyone's resignation, but I'm just asking us to acknowledge that when you come on a specific mandate, and honestly, I'm crossing my heart and saying it, I believe that there will be a difference, but each attack on Indian soil, and you look at the previous two attempts, they're asking religion and they're killing Indian citizens on Indian soil. What can be worse than this, Ji? I mean, this is horrendous. You pass the buck and say Farooq Abdullah ji said this, he said that. That is not the question.
Okay.
That is not the question.
So
You
why
are the
is it not a question at the same time? Why is this not a question? If somebody from within the country is absolving Pakistan, why should that question not be asked?
Because he is not a union government.
No.
I
It's
don't
not. It's
care
not
what
about
he
that.
says.
It's NC
The
government
chief
in Jammu and
minister-
Kashmir. One second.
chief
One
minister
second.
of
One
the
second,
state-
Imran. NC is in power in Jammu and Kashmir. If
So
somebody
that
from
means-
National Conference is saying something, why should questions not be asked? While I completely agree with the question that you're asking, but why should we not ask the question that's also being asked simultaneously? Why absolve
Hina ji-
Pakistan? Is it
Hina ji,
judicious to
nobody
cry
absolved.
conspiracy?
I
One second.
started.
Imran, is it
I-
judicious to cry conspiracy when terror has killed Indians, like I said, 2 Indians on Indian soil yet again? Why should we
Hina ji,
absolve
I mean-
Pakistan? Why should we
Hina ji,
not
no,
speak in one
I
voice here
started
against
by
Pakistan?
saying
If a
I-
Pak proxy has claimed responsibility of this attack, Imran, and then Sanjay.
I started by saying that Pakistan is a failed state. We have the bad, luck of sharing a border with Pakistan and sharing a history with them. They're a failed state. They're in the dumps. They're the worst. I said 100%. They don't know how to manage their country. They can't control terrorism in their own country.
Okay.
And that overspill comes into us. However, that does not absolve the government in preventing how
Well,
many
I will
lives
say one
from
thing at
protest?
least.
How
I
many-
will say one thing before I hand it over to Sanju and Advocate Nilofer. I'll just say one thing. Terror is not a new reality, but there has been a huge decline in terror-related incidents in Jammu and Kashmir, and I think Mr. SP Vaid and Sushant Sareen will agree to that because we all have seen the data. He's nodding, in agreement. SP Vaid, sir, I'll come to you. Now, Sanju, question being asked is, why couldn't we prevent it?
I want to first focus on one thing. Classic whataboutery by Imran, who's a Congress member for all practical purposes. You want to ask accountability from the government, you must. But at the same time, I fail to understand that you sit on television debates and call Pakistan a failed state. But the entire Darbari ecosystem, led by Rahul Gandhi, led by Priyanka Vadra, led by the likes of Charanjit Singh Channi, led by the likes of Siddaramaiah, what did they say after Operation Sindoor? None of them even admitted that it was, the Pahalgam terror attack happened because those people who were killed were simply killed because they were Hindus. उनको कलमा पढ़ने के लिए बोला गया. They were asked to pull down their trousers and then they were shot at point blank range. And let me say one more thing, Hina, please. Operation Sindoor is the first time that the government of the Modi government not only crossed the NOC, not only crossed the international border, it struck at the heart of Rawalpindi. But your leader, Rahul Gandhi, not once praised Operation Sindoor. They said, "अरे ये तो ऑपरेशन फेल्ड है, मोदी डिप्लोमेसी को तो हम इसमें विश्वास नहीं करते."
Advocate Nilofer, please respond.
Well, Hina, I'm very sorry to hear about Dr. Farooq Abdullah, what Mr. Sareen has said here. When such statements are made against one of the tallest leader of Jammu and Kashmir, that is making the nonsensical statement. I'm very sorry about. And second thing, if the long processes are involved in the restoration of the state, that never means that statehood should not be restored onto the people of the Jammu and Kashmir, because it is a commitment of our own Prime Minister, it is a commitment of our own Home Minister.
Ma'am, the point is, how are these two things related? Can you explain it to us? How is a terror attack related to the demand for restoration of statehood for Jammu and Kashmir? How are these two related? What is the connection between both?
Across the border, everybody wants that Jammu and Kashmir should be an unstable union territory. This time we are union territory. What we want is statehood. They want that it should be disturbed. People should lose
You're
the trust
saying
in
across the
democratic
border,
system.
the people across the border want the area to remain destabilized. Advocate Nilofer, let's go one by one. Let's go step by step. 1 second. Advocate Nilofer, 1 second. 1 second. Advocate Nilofer, 1 second. Step by step चलते हैं. You've just said across the border, the people who are there, they want this area to remain destabilized, which means you're holding Pakistan responsible for what has happened. Then why add this conspiracy angle? Is it the right thing to do?
Everybody here on this panel are on the same page. We know who are doing this. Everybody knows it.
Same page.
We cannot deny that. We cannot deny that. But the thing is, how statehood is connected with the terrorism? Even Supreme Court has held that.
But ma'am, you still have not answered my question. ये जो incident हुआ है, इसके साथ statehood का क्या लेना देना है?
Stabilize Jammu and Kashmir.
Anyway, I have to now move on. I have to move on, and we also have to talk about the change strategy of Pakistan. Okay, Sushant Sareen, do recent terror strikes indicate growing desperation among terror modules based in Pakistan?
I think it's a little too early to reach that conclusion. I think we should be wary of Pakistan constantly wanting to stir the pot in Jammu and Kashmir. I think that's a no-brainer. Perhaps they are not getting the kind of opportunities that might like, but we all know that there are at least, according to police reports, intelligence reports, about 60, maybe 80, 100 odd terrorists in the valley, some local, some who have come from across the border. Look, and it's, I think Imran is right that yes, a single death is also the responsibility of the government of the day. And because the law and order is with the central government, then yes, there is going to be a responsibility of the central government. I don't think anybody can deny that. But extrapolate from that and to exaggerate what has happened, I think that's also that kind of disingenuous. The bottom line is that the situation has improved tremendously, and yet we also know that there are going to be remnants of terrorism in the valley. They are existing. Even if you are going to try and ferret them out, there will be a handful left. And the kind of attacks, which have taken place yesterday, it's very tragic for the families of the two gentlemen who have been killed. All of that given. But let's look at who are the people who have been attacked? The softest of the soft targets. A minority living in a place where somebody comes, these are unarmed people, no training, somebody comes, shoots them in cold blood and goes away. It doesn't take a whole lot of planning. It does not take a whole lot of preparation, training, what have you, to carry out an attack like this. To extrapolate from that to say that, some major kind of new wave of terrorism is coming, I think it's rather premature. But we have to be very, very careful that given the kind of circumstances that exist in Pakistan, I think the security agencies have their task out, because the Pakistanis will try, when they become very desperate in JK and in rest of Pakistan, they will want to divert attention by carrying out a big attack in India and, in a sense, war baiting India so that they can fuse their country together. And I think that is something we need to watch out for.
Okay. Mr. SP Vaid, do you think there is a changed terrorist strategy, no big attack but small ones to keep fires burning and also to escape Operation Sindoor kind of an attack?
Absolutely, Heenaji. I don't think they can afford another Operation Sindoor. In fact, not another Operation Sindoor is already in operation, so it has not been called off by Government of India. So I don't think they will take it to that level, because that would, I think it will be Pakistan's doomsday. Already they are facing so much of, turmoil in Balochistan. They have lost about 70-80% of the territory. They don't control that area in Balochistan. Similarly, the conditions in KPK are also very, very terrible for Pakistan establishment. Every other day you see TTP hitting the Pakistan army and the police, and many of the police pickets have been actually deserted on the Afghanistan border. So conditions in the POJK, you have already seen I think is the biggest embarrassment for the Pakistan establishment, what is happening in POJK, because their whole narrative of 78 years of Azad Kashmir and all that has been actually punctured by the people of POJK, who are openly urging that it is illegal occupation of Pakistan on the Jammu and Kashmir, and we do not want to stay with them. So under these circumstances, they must be definitely looking for some incidents in this part of Jammu and Kashmir, so that attention of the local population can be an international
Very
media.
quickly, Mr. Ved, what should the government do on the ground to protect such soft targets? Sanju, then I'll come to you.
Yes, it is. In fact, as Sushantji was saying, we have all kinds of laborers. In Kashmir, we do not have much of the local labor. So we have labor from Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bihar, even Odisha and Madhya Pradesh working here. So whether it is orchard, whether it is the fields, agriculture field, or brick kilns like what we saw yesterday, most of the boys come from those areas and work here. Not apart from that, even a lot of government works like railway work, the tunneling work, the highway work. So all this is being done by. So it is difficult to protect everyone individually, but yes, you can locate them with the camps of the paramilitary and the JNK police. And other thing is, this solution lies pinpointed intelligence to be generated by JNK police and Indian Army and the CAPF to launch operations with JNK police and eliminate these people who are actually, whatever remnants are left, eliminate them. That is the solution.
Okay. Sanju, closing comments, very quickly, please.
I just want to say one thing. Let the National Conference and likes of Farooq Abdullah know one thing. You cannot believe the Supreme Court conveniently when you choose to. You say the Supreme Court has asked for the Modi government to restore statehood in Jammu Kashmir, which we will do when we think the time is right. But why does the National Conference not believe the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court on the 11th of December 2023 has clearly upheld abrogation of Article 370?
Okay.
Meetha meetha gaf kadwa kadwa thu thu. I want to ask Advocate Nilufar, do you support abrogation of Article 370? Yes or no? Then you talk about statehood. Do you support abrogation?
Quick rebuttal, Advocate Nilufar, 10 seconds. I'm completely out of time.
We believe in public participation. We stand for peace.
You stand with abrogation of Article 370 or not?
We stand with the commitment. We want all the commitments which have been made by the government.
We leave it there. We leave it there. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on this debate. We'll, of course, be tracking this story closely ahead as well. Thank you for joining us.